Welcome to another episode of Nerds Amalgamated. I am the DJ, and with me today I have the Professor.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm good.
Fun week?
It's been fairly quiet, all things considered.
So no panic from the recent coronavirus cases and whatnot?
No, not on my end. I've got a couple of friends who are in isolation, but they haven't been confirmed yet.
Ugh. Yeah, I'm still a bit afraid of going outside nowadays, just because everyone's starting to become a little bit panicky.
Well, yeah, I'm not entirely happy that the Logan staff got to come to our head office today.
Hey, look on the bright side. At least you get more people to talk to in the office.
I'm perfectly happy with never talking again. In fact, why don't I do that? This is your episode. Take it away.
Can't sign it, Professor. Don't leave me. Don't leave me in silence. That's so painful. And speaking of painful, you've got a story about Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay, it's not about Five Nights at Freddy's specifically.
Yeah.
I guess it is. It's about the developer deciding that game developer communism is good. Yes, I know it sounds nuts, but it's an interesting copyright model. He's basically opened the field for anyone to do a Five Nights at Freddy's game, and he will help get it published.
Okay, so he's doing what the Chinese government does, doesn't he?
No, because he consents to it. The Chinese government is perfectly happy with taking your stuff without you consenting to it.
Oh no, but they do also help out the funding.
Yeah, they do in some cases. But so anyway, it's called the Fazbear Fanverse Initiative, and Scott, who makes the games, is going to help fund them and help get them ported to consoles and mobile, including releasing merchandise for it. Yeah, so it reminds me of it actually reminds me of the Metro series. The author of that has basically opened it up to let people write stories told in the universe. And I found someone pointed out that Tuhu is also under a similar model.
So does that help game development as a whole, or it's yet to be seen?
Yet to be seen, but I think assuming Scott does some sort of curatorship, then assuming Scott does some curatorship, the initiative could lead to making it easier for a up-and-coming game dev to make an idea using without having to build the community. So they've got concepts already for the characters. They don't need to build a community because the Five Nights at Freddy's community is huge.
Oh, yeah. Just curiously, though, okay, so can you explain to me what's the difference between what he does and what your average games company does?
Your average games company will sue you into the dirt if you tried to publish a game using their characters.
As opposed to this person's?
He's going to support you to publish it.
Okay. And there's no legal strings attached or anything like that.
There doesn't seem to be. I mean, I'm sure there's some catch where you have to actually no, he doesn't take a cut of the game sales because the games are being released for free. I don't know about the merchandise side though. We haven't seen the contract. Initially, he's picked out five or so projects, and he's working with them. But as he opens up the initiative to more people, there will probably be leaks about the contract.
Okay. So, do you reckon he'll have a lot of success with this, or you reckon it will fail kind of thing?
I think it will be successful. There's a huge community already waiting for more Freddy's content, and a bunch of the stuff that Scott's promoting in this first round of games spin-offs is some of it's a sequel to previously released mods, and some of it's a remaster of a previously released mod. So I think there's definitely a community.
Curiously, though, would you say this is is it a little bit like outsourcing it, though?
No, I think it's more like licensing the content.
Okay.
So if they were outsourcing, Scott would find a developer and say, I want you to make a game to this specification. In this case, it's more the developers have gone to Scott and got permission to make their project.
Okay. So, and by the way, these are all console ports, aren't they? Or not mobile gaming?
He's going to help them get it ported to console and mobile.
Oh, okay.
Where appropriate.
Okay. See, here's the problem though. Like when it comes to mobile gaming, a lot of people have this. A lot of people have this notion that mobile gaming is just a cash grab. So that's the thing. Like, I mean,
typically, if you get a mobile game that is a pre-existing game, it's successful because it obviously has the pedigree.
Yeah, and with the whole Five Nights at Freddy's spin-off, so will this affect the continuity of the main series, or that'll be the other thing to also
Probably
consider?
not.
Probably not.
They'll probably be non-canon, which is, I believe, the same as the Metro series. So the Metro spin-offs are non-canon to the main plot line.
Okay. How long before the other games companies catch wind of this and go, maybe this will be a good model?
A couple have tried already. I don't think anyone's gone as far as supporting entirely new projects, but some developers have tried to license for mods. Bethesda is still running the paid mod store, and also publishers on the official Bethesda mod store, they will publish fan projects that are particularly high quality.
So when you mean by the paid mod store, you mean the Creation Club?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, apparently they've undergone some bit of a fiasco as well, from what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, it started off being really unpopular. The reason for that is that it started off being a bit predatory. There were mods that weren't as good quality as alternatives available on the free mod store for money. So people were really upset about that.
Yeah. The other question we also have to wonder is the timeline for each of these projects, and whether they can be they can be on time, even with all the funding. Like some projects would go, okay, we've got all this funding, but then they'll be like, nah, nothing.
Well, they're fan mods by people who already have a proven record.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's going to be a concern.
Yeah. Well, let's hope it doesn't become like, what's that one? The StarCon, was it?
Star Citizen.
Ah, right, that. where it was like, yeah, we're getting all this money and nothing's coming out. I mean, not even the beta.
For a moment, I thought I could hear Buck. But yes, I think this is going to have a lot more content coming out than Star Citizen, because Star Citizen is still in active development as a major AAA game, and they don't like leaking stuff before it's ready. They do have, well, they have an open beta, or open alpha, but so they have, an open project for people to join in, but it's a bit of a mess. They are now like the best funded game developers ever, and going on 8 years or something. They massive feature creep, all the weirdness with the selling the spaceships. Yeah.
8 years? Wait, 8 years and you still haven't gotten anything? Man.
You can get in the spaceship and fly around.
I have nothing to say.
Yeah.
But with this initiative though, so like, do you reckon this will be easily exploited though? If let's say if the first few games come out and they're successful, do you reckon other games companies will see this and exploit this model?
I hope so. Just because I'd like to see more open licensing for fan works.
When it comes to open licensing, it opens up a big can of worms in terms of fair use and copyright, wouldn't it?
It does. That's why I think this hasn't been as popular in America as it has in other places so far. And then there's also the question of money distribution. Is it going to be a fair distribution? I don't know what cut the mod developers are getting for the Fazbear universe. But I know that one of the complaints about the Creation Club was that the developers weren't getting a big enough cut. Bethesda was taking too much from the mod developer.
Yeah, because I know Epic Gaming's cut it's like 60-40 or something, like 60 to the game developers and 40 for the Epic Game Store or something like that.
Yeah, so it's actually different to that. The Steam, I think, is 70-30. Epic was like 75-25. I'd need to double check. But what I'm thinking of is companies like Bethesda putting out a mod, and it's a bit of a different situation because, Steam and Epic Launcher are stores, whereas that just sell the game, whereas the Creation Club is a store that sells mods for an existing engine. So I think that's also why a lot of people are upset about the split.
Okay, this will also be a big boost for indie gaming as a whole, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so Scott is obviously an indie developer, and I think he's trying to support other indie developers, which is, I consider that a great thing.
Hang on a second. So I've got here, yeah, so you're right. Steam does its usual 70-30 revenue split. Epic Game Store does a 88-12 split.
Okay. So the Epic split is a lot lower than I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the fair split basically comes down to an argument about the services that Steam and Epic provide. Scott seems fairly in-depth on helping with the marketing and release and publishing, but he said that he's staying out of the development.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good. At least it's. I think Scott understands the fact that what games companies tends to do is they tend to interfere into the creative process of game making and twist the process up.
Yeah, he doesn't want to affect sort of their artistic vision. Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah, which is good. Like nowadays, creative freedom is just artistic and creative freedom are not palpable and not allowed nowadays because games companies like, oh no, you have to do this. No, you have to do that, and like there's not much control anymore. Like.
Yeah, a lot of people are upset about publisher meddling. Particularly, Take-Two is known for forcing, or at least the developers claim they're forced to include all of the microtransactions.
Oh, I just hope those those games don't have microtransactions involved.
Yeah,
but at least the fan reaction to this news has been pretty excited.
Fans love it.
At least it keeps the momentum going, and it brings the interest back of like, yes, Five Nights at Freddy's it's kind of like a resurrection, but not a resurrection to the franchise in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I think this will bring a few people back to the main series.
Yeah. Oh. And speaking of all things fan interest and hype, DC came out during last weekend with their own called DC FanDome. Dome.
Wow, you're really into that.
I wish I could put the echo effect on this, but so yeah. So,
I mean, if you want to edit, you can. I'm too lazy to do that for you.
So DC came out with DC FanDome, which is basically an event aimed for the DC fans, and it featured online panels, cosplay, fan art, comics, and a special event for the kids. The DC FanDome will be excited with some of the long-awaited DC properties. And this event, which was kind of like Comic-Con, but without the Marvel hippie stuff.
You are really channeling Buck tonight.
I know. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm getting I think it's something to do with the glasses, or there's something in the water or something. But yeah. So they've got so if you're a fan of DC, of characters such as Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Aquaman, some good stuff have happened. Fortunately, though, this is a two-parter event. So we had the first event that came out on the weekend, which showed the comic books to movies to TV shows and video games. The second one, which will be held on September the 12th, will be something similar. But yeah, this whole event was a positive in term to outshine the negative, which was all the massive layoffs and stuff that we heard a while back. So even though this is a huge event, here are some of the highlights that I've found. So there is a new Batman movie coming out.
So just one thing though. So DC had layoffs?
Yeah, DC had layoffs, yeah. DC
and this is positive for who? The people who got laid off?
As in it's out. I was meant to say that this is to overshadow the negative news.
Right.
That the layoffs happened. So, but yeah, as I was saying for the highlights, one of the biggest highlights was the Batman movie that came out, the Batman movie trailer, which has Robert Pattinson as Batman. Good trailer, by the way. And
so what's special about this one? Are we going to have to watch the origin story again?
Luckily, no. Luckily, no. This story is going to be based on Batman's second year as Batman. So
okay, I can still see them squeezing in a origin story there. Please don't do it. We've seen it enough.
It's like watching Spider-Man, the Uncle Ben thing over and over again. Like, what's going on?
Which, to be fair, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies did that themselves. They put that scene in like all three of the movies. It was like they had the first one where Uncle Ben actually gets killed. And then they were like, the second one, it was this bad guy who killed Uncle Ben. And then they flashed back to it again in the third one.
Oh, man. Wait a second. The trailer looks beautiful to look at, by the way, because it's Robert Pattinson in the Batman outfit. It looks beautiful to look at. Really beautiful.
Do you want to admit your feelings for Robert Pattinson?
I knew you were going to go there. I knew it. I knew you were going to say that. But yeah.
Look, I'm not going to judge you.
I have a sudden foreboding sense of horror in this one. But
well, he was just a massive tween girl icon. In Twilight.
Well,
so you can look yourself in with screaming preteen girls if you want. But.
So even though the movie's like 30% shot, it isn't scheduled for release until the October 1st, 21. It's already receiving a spin-off show. So only a few
soon.
Yeah.
Wait, they're not even halfway done and they're already spinning off.
I know. Well, look at it this way, though. Like, it's Batman. I mean, there's so much to it that you can talk about the Batman universe for ages. Like, there's so much things to explain. But, so for those who are not familiar with Matt Reeves, the director of this one, he's also the director for War of the Planet of the Apes.
The remake?
Yeah. So so Matt Reeves, he showed up at the event saying, knowing that he had to show something from his rebooted Batman movie, and the movie is coming from influences such as Chinatown, Taxi Driver, and The French Connection. He's also explained that how the villains, such as in this movie, by the way, which is the Riddler, the Penguin. Oh, by the way, the Penguin, interestingly enough, is Colin Farrell. And when you see his face on the trailer, it's like, that does not look like Colin Farrell. And
as opposed to the Penguin in the Tim Burton movies, who looked exactly like Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure he was in makeup.
I think the nose was the makeup part, but
yes, you missed my massive sarcasm.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I like the aesthetic of the Batmobile in this one.
Oh yeah. The Batsuit as well looks really cool, like with the whole Batman logo. It's manufactured from the gun that was used to shoot his parents or something like that. I've heard.
Where did he get the gun from?
Well, they said that the story goes that he dropped the gun or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So his parents were murdered. He picks up the gun. How is he not prime suspect? It's, it,
Cause,
it feels like a fairly grounded design. The Batmobile is basically just a black muscle car.
oh yeah, yeah, and I like how Robert Pattinson is looks like the moody emo teenager in this
Actually,
one as
yeah,
well.
I just realised what the Robert Pattinson Batmobile reminds me of. The last of the V8s.
Last of the V8s.
You know, Mad Max.
Oh right, yeah, that machine. Wow, that was a good. That's a cool machine. So yeah, with those villains, by the way, and Zoe Kravitz plays as Catwoman. They all have their old different points of the journey, and so the directors basically described that this is a year 2 story, and it's dealing with the duality of the character in a story that could really happen. So for those who are not for those curious, so as I said earlier on, year 2 is basically the second year of being a Cape Crusader, still trying to figure out how best to tackle his corrupt city and learn his seemingly squeaky clean philanthropist family might not be so upstanding.
I wonder if they're going to have Alfred as an accomplice in this one. Because some of the Batmans have Alfred as a capable crime fighter himself. But like, if this one's going to have his family not approving of him, are they going to have Alfred as a bit of a foil?
Oh, that would be pretty funny if that happened.
Alfred, wash my batsuit. You'll know, sir, I don't approve of you going and murdering people.
Can you imagine, like, if you're a Batman and your Batmobile is in the shop for service, and be like, "Sir, sir, you can use my car." And it's like some Mini Cooper. You're like, "Damn, I wish I had my Batmobile."
Or you know, when you go to the mechanic and get the loaner car, and it's just this dodgy little car with like broken seatbelts and stuff.
Yep. Oh, Alfred's car's the loaner car. Oh, okay. So moving along with the fandom event. So there was also a Wonder Woman 1984 trailer that came out, and for this event they had Linda Carter, the TV Wonder Woman. So she was the one that introduced the new trailers for the sequel. Not much footage except for a design for Cheetah, and that was the coolest part of the trailer. From after I saw it as well, and here's an interesting one. The Cats directors will be silently cheering for this one.
Is it the butthole cut?
No, I wish it wasn't, but yeah, with this one.
So why are the Cats directors cheering?
Because Cheetah is so the character design for Cheetah is similar to the Cats.
I see.
But I will say this: so I saw the trailer as well, and it was really good to look at. Really good. Like they didn't put there aren't much new footage per se, but like I said, the new the Cheetah costume looks really cool to look at. So they were talking about so they were also talking about how this will be a delightfully 80s new trailer. And yeah, moving along, we had the Justice League, the Snyder Cut. This thing has been for years in the making, like so many years. Everyone has been talking about this for ages. Like there was a fan movement called the #release the Snyder Cut, and after so long, we finally have it.
So there is hope for the butthole cut.
What is it with you and the butthole cut?
I just like the meme.
I don't think it will fly on any cinema. But
they
yeah,
can just release it on streaming services.
Yeah, I don't think streaming services will accept that either. But yeah, with the Justice League, the Snyder Cut edition. So yeah, so you know the story what happened with the Zack Snyder Cut, don't you?
Yeah, he left the production and they finished it without him and ditched like half of the work he'd done.
Yeah. So apparently, like Zack Snyder stepped down from the project because his daughter passed away. So Joss Whedon had to take over at the time. So now after so much pressure, Zack Snyder said we'll release this cut, and so the cut's going to be now on HBO Max. and the teaser trailer came out for it. And some new facts have come out that this will be a 4-hour-long mini series. And the trailer for it, that came out, the trailer for that one had Leonard Cohen's "Hallelujah," and it introduced a lot of new footage from the from the Justice League that were cut out, like for example, Darkseid showing up, Cyborg and the Flash doing more stuff in the movie, and what else was there? Oh, and more talks about how did they bring back Superman as well.
So what else?
What else? A couple of games have also been. One of the games has been announced. Gotham Knights. So the developers behind the Batman Arkham Origins, they've released a new game called Gotham Knights, which is a co-op game, and it will be starring Nightwing, Robin, Batgirl, and Red Hood, and they will protect the city after the death of Batman. So they're facing up a villainous group known as the Court of Owls, and there'll be other members of the Rogues Gallery. So yeah, but the unfortunate thing though, it won't be set in the same universe as the Arkham game. So yeah. But it looks really cool though. Like I've seen the gameplay footage for that one, and I will say it looks really good. Looks really good. But there was also there's also a Flash movie coming out. The plot for this one is basically Flashpoint. So the story goes is the Flash saved his mother and has made an alternate timeline where Bruce Wayne died instead of the parents, and other crazy things happen. So it's up to... I
can just imagine that mum.
Oh no!
Bruce Wayne's parents become vigilantes after their son gets murdered.
Oh no! Ironically though, in the animated one, actually I don't know whether it's animated or in the comic book as well. But both of them, I think the mum goes crazy. I think Bruce Wayne's mum goes crazy, but the dad goes, the mum goes crazy. Yeah. And the dad becomes Batman, and Superman wasn't discovered by two country people, and a lot of other changes in that Flashpoint. So apparently for this one, this movie is the movie that will start introducing the multiverse, the DC multiverse, basically.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just moving along. A new Suicide Squad is coming out. It's going to be called The Suicide Squad.
Is it a reboot?
It's yes and no. Yes, it is a reboot, but no, it's not a full hard reboot. So basically, who we have here? So they've got the lineup here. So Idris Elba is going to be playing in this movie. John Cena as well. Pete Davidson as well. And it's going to be directed by James Gunn, who used to be famous for the Guardians of the Galaxy movies over at Marvel.
And now he's famous for getting fired for making some untasteful comments.
Oh, but didn't you know he went back in the end? He got hired in the end.
Yeah. Look, we're going to fire you for 2 months, but then you can come back.
Like, how the heck did that happen? Like, it was so weird though. Like,
it doesn't have to make sense.
Oh, it's Marvel. Like, it was so weird when that happened. So yeah,
well, it looks like Marvel really stick to their guns.
God damn it, Barb! God damn it! So the Suicide Squad had a lot to reveal. We didn't get really a full trailer, but it was a roll call teaser trailer. So one of the villains, it's Idris Elba. He plays as Bloodsport, and it's got a lot of other characters as well. Like what's one of the characters? Polka Dot Man.
Okay.
Which is weird. I'm like, wow, okay, that's a really weird choice of characters you've got there. But it's good though. Like, it's good to see some of the mainstay characters in there, like Margot Robbie as Harley, and the guy who plays as the Joker. Not the Joker. Boomerang Man. That's the one. But another Suicide Squad. This time in the video game format's also coming out. It's going to be by Rocksteady, and this one is basically you play with 4 characters. So it's Harley Quinn, King Shark, Captain Boomerang, and Deadshot. and they have to kill the Justice League. So the trailer looks really cool to look at as well. And this game will be coming out on PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series X. There's also a Black Adam movie, which The Rock is going to be playing in this one as the main character. And it's been this one is 10 years in the making. And the story goes is Black Adam is before he was a ruler of a Middle Eastern country known as Kandak. He was a slave, and now that he claimed the throne, he can go up against maybe Superman one day.
So it's Black Panther, but Middle Eastern.
Yeah, yeah, you could say that. But The Rock as Black Adam, that's a very interesting concept. I mean, he did the announcement a while. He did do the announcement a while back, but yeah, that was an interesting announcement.
Interesting. So The Rock, where's The Rock from?
Samoa.
Yeah, going to play a Middle Eastern guy.
I think it can be done. Yeah. So the story goes in here. It says like he felt the burdens and pressures of a large entity holding him down, and he can't take it anymore. When you come from that place, it can be very different energy, and it forms how he operates and delivers justice. So in this, and later on, The Rock also teased that certain characters from the Justice Society of America, such as Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher, will be incorporated into Black Adam. What else is there? New Aquaman details came out, so it'll be coming out in 2022, and the sequel is going to be more serious and relevant as well. Some other movies also came out. There's a new Shazam movie coming out known as Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Neil Gaiman's Sandman. I don't know whether you're familiar with the Sandman comics.
I'm not. I mean, I know of them, but haven't read them.
Yeah, so they're coming out on Netflix, and from what I've gathered, the story is not going to be starting not in 1998, but it's going to be now, and it'll call it a liberating experience, basically. But this comic book has been in the making for a long, long time. What else happened? There was also the Flash TV series. 7th season has come out. The trailer for that one was pretty interesting to look at as well. I've been following the TV series, and there are some good moments and there are some interesting moments, but yeah. But we'll have to wait and see for that one. On the comic book side of things, there is Milestone Comics is coming back. They're pretty famous back in the day for introducing a very known hero known as Static, who's famous for the TV series Static Shock. And Milestone Comics was also famous for the black comic book creators, and as a comic book publisher will mandate the address of underrepresentation of racial minorities in superhero comics. So yeah.
Okay.
So now that I've described all the highlights for it, the question is going to be: is this going to be the new norm now that it has beaten Comic-Con?
I wouldn't mind that, because there's a lot of these things that can't go to because they're in America.
Yeah. And it's also the economy of information in terms of like how much information was relayed to us. But
I think also if they decide to keep doing this, they'll dial it in over the next couple of years. This is the first year they've done a major online component. So I think we'll probably see more of it next year. Yeah. And hopefully they'll get the issues ironed out.
Yeah, and I've been looking at some of the articles. Some of the articles saying like DC fandom solved all the problems by not trying to replicate the convention experience. Instead, it leaned on the virtual-only restrictions and created an entirely digital experience. And where Comic-Con tried to focus on the content, fandom embraced its global audience by including a significant amount of international presenters and fans. And it was more accessible, while Comic-Con did not even include in English subtitles. It was also
that's a bit of an issue.
Yeah. It was also live streamed as well. It felt like a true convention.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like pre-taped moments, like, oh yeah, they were all pre-recorded and stuff. What else happened? There was also it felt like a spectacle as well. It felt like a real spectacle, and yeah, oh, hang on a sec. There was also this one also looked pre-recorded, and DC Fandom was also pre-recorded. Okay, I didn't know that.
Ah, there you go.
But yeah, I think this one was an overall success, a very big success. Okay. So yeah. Finally for our topics, we've got a story about a self-powered wildfire detector.
And how does that work?
Oh, simple. We use ourselves and power this thing.
That's bad. You can not do that again.
Damn it. So with this new prototype fire detector, it doesn't need batteries. It is powered by triboelectrical generator.
Oh, interesting.
So it harnesses small motions to produce energy. So the design consists of a top and bottom set of slightly different sized concentric cylinders, one bottom in a copper film and the other one in Teflon, that interlock and are connected by a rubber band. The bottom set is weighted as such when hung from a swaying branch. The cylinders move up and down against each other, converting the branch's erratic movement into electrical power.
That's really cool. I was thinking this would be more of a drone, but it's more like a thing. You drop it in a location on a hanger from a tree, and then when it detects the fire, it will ping back a signal, which is really cool.
It almost, from the way they worded it, it kind of sounds like it's an electrical version of a wind chime. So yeah, it's an electrical wind chime, and
Are you saying wing chime?
Wind.
With a G?
Wind. Sorry, my G's and D's are not coming out right. But yeah, so one of the developers in this with this project said that this design can generate electricity from the slightest motion of tree branches. All it needs is a breeze to provide power, but the fire creates air currents, meaning power will likely be readily available. The technology is both fireproof and waterproof because it has no batteries.
This is a great application of a mobile sensor net. Well, not mobile, but a sensor net using presumably cheap sensor capsules and having them harvest energy from the environment.
Yeah, and interestingly, this only costs $20 to produce, and it's theoretically much cheaper than satellite monitoring or manned patrols.
So it is cheap, because these days manned patrols, they often fly a light aircraft around looking for smoke, and flying gets expensive fast.
Yeah, and not to mention time consuming. I mean, how far do you have to fly how far do you have to fly from the airfield to the nearest crisis spot? Be pretty much like an hour to maybe an hour and a half, depending on conditions.
And another advantage of this is that if you lay them out on a grid of, say, they mention 100-meter intervals, it gives you a fairly accurate location of the fire, and it can't be blocked out by smoke and dust. So when you look at the satellite images of a fire and there's a huge plume of smoke, you can't tell where the fire is without using, say, infrared. But presumably a network of this spread across the forest would help a lot.
Yeah. And they're saying here the device has several advantages over current fire surveillance approaches. It's not only cheaper and easier to operate in the long run, it will also provide more continuous monitoring than satellites, which often appear only periodically over specific parts of Earth. And unlike satellites, the system would not be blinded by local weather conditions, or the smoke and dust of wildfires.
Come on, DJ. I know it's Friday, but I literally just said that.
I know. One thing that really will be interesting, though, is how will it deal with wild animals?
Well, the animals aren't going to give a damn about it. But it's a plastic canister. What do they care for? Yeah,
but can you imagine a koala just beating that thing, using it like a punching bag kind of thing, and it'd be like, Oh crap! A fire! A fire!
Well, the good news is it won't do that because the sensors it uses aren't triggered by motion; they're triggered by carbon dioxide. Well, carbon monoxide.
Yeah. One of the wildfire scientists, he says that the challenges is going to be is that you might need 100 of the new sensors just to cover 1 square area of land.
Yeah,
And
but $20 per device. That's a fairly cheap for a sensor net, and mass producing it could get it cheaper.
he's also saying that while this is a exciting development, the technology has not been tested in the field, and he adds that the devices are not meaningfully comparable to optical techniques that can spot smoke plumes over vast areas from fire towers or aircraft or satellite sensors.
Yeah, they are targeting a different aspect, really. But I hope they keep looking at this because alternative methods of detecting fires are pretty important.
Yeah.
Since a fire can be so destructive, we want every chance possible to find it.
This technology, it would be perfect in the Australian conditions.
Yeah, maybe not in like way out bush in the desert, but in places closer to cities where there's forest, it would fit.
Yeah.
So, once you get out past the dividing range, everything's pretty flat and treeless. But having it in, say, from the dividing range east, there's a lot of forest there. And that burns sometimes, like last year, especially around Brisbane, the Lamington National Park burnt down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if this would have helped them detect the fire sooner, but that's the sort of application for it in Australia. You're not going to use it out in Charleville.
Yeah. I mean, that was, I don't understand it though. Like, you've got like something that could potentially save people. Yet at the same time, like people are saying like, oh, but this is not tested. And it's like, okay, if you want to get it tested, do it then. Get it tested. Like, why say it instead of just doing it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, large-scale testing like this costs a lot of money because they'll have to pay someone to go and drop one of these every 100 meters, and
yeah, but even if I grant you the fact that it does cost a lot of money, at least it's good for the many. It's like the whole argument: the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Yeah. There's a lot of things like that people don't seem to get.
Yeah. So, Professor, what have you been playing this week?
Well, I've been playing Forager, which I covered a few weeks ago now. I've put a bunch more time into it, and it's getting close to exploring everything.
Oh.
It's surprisingly more dungeon-based than I was expecting. So some of the islands you unlock actually have dungeons on them that you can go into and explore, like a Legend of Zelda dungeon.
Okay. So what was it? Any new discoveries?
Yeah, once you get the automation going, things are a lot more interesting. It just takes a long time to get the automation going, in my experience, compared to something like Factorio, where you're automating right from the start.
Okay. Any big flaws you've encountered?
Yeah, it's sitting in this sort of awkward place where it's set up like an automation game, but crossed over with a Zelda game, and I'm not sure that works really because they both involve a very different set of skills and attention spans. Like once you've set up the automation in Factorio, you can go away and leave it for a bit to produce some items. In
Forager is something
Forager,
else.
you can't really go away. There's nowhere to explore apart from the islands you've unlocked, and there's only half a dozen dungeons. So once you've done the dungeons, what next? Is the question I have, really. And now my save's corrupted, so I don't know that I'll ever find out.
So how many Nerdy Beanies out of 5 would you give this one out of?
I'll put it up to 3. I think I might have given it 2.5 last time.
A second, let me check. I think you might have given it you gave it 3. Oh, that's the other day. Second. Huh. I think you gave it a 3 or something, but yeah, I'll have a look.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I'm feeling a bit more into it than I was, but still not hugely into it.
Oh, okay. I've been playing Super Circuit Breakers, which is a top-down shooter, and yeah, the control is pretty interesting. How you use your WASD keys, and you have to use your mouse to shoot and control your control the shots. But yeah, it's a small game, but interesting interesting graphics and stuff.
Is it just an action game?
Yeah, it's just an action game basically, and you might need I think you might need a lot of people for this one as well. Like it's a 4-person local.
Okay,
but it looks really.
I didn't know you had that many friends.
I do. But yeah, you can you have a range of weapons as well in this game, so it's kind of like do you remember Contra?
Yes.
Yeah, this game is similar to Contra.
Okay.
But from a top-down perspective. But for this one, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
So on to our shout-outs. And on the 24th of July 2020, Anne Seidrell, who helped give computers a female voice, passed away at 74. Anne Seidrell worked in computer voice synthesis. She created the first female voice in 1990 based on work she had done in the 80s. Shortly after, she developed a technique using pre-recorded phenomenons and recorded 6 women as the basis for an award-winning synthesizer. She died of cancer on the 24th of July, but her death was announced earlier this week. On the 25th of July, U.S. journalist Stu Rushfield pronounced emu for moo while reporting on the case of Winston Charles Featherbill, an emu who has gone missing. He claims that many other American reporters and editors pronounced it that way, but we don't recommend it. The emus already won one war. Don't give them cause to start another one. Oh, man. Gotta love the Americans when they try and pronounce something.
Yeah, I just remember seeing clips of Oprah doing her Aussie tour and saying literally everything wrong.
I saw The Simpsons trying to pronounce emu, and they did it wrong as well. They're like, emu. So you'll have a good laugh on this one. But yeah, so moving along. KFC will no longer be finger-licking good. So they're dropping the slogan due to complaints that the behavior could spread coronavirus. They could have used the slogan since they've used the slogan since they've founding in the 50s and dropped it for 18 years from 1990. The slogan changed on the 25th of August. I wonder what they're going to change the slogan to now, though.
Yeah, at the moment it seems to be just like that was our slogan. Don't use it. Don't do it right now. So maybe they'll bring it back in a year or two.
So on to our remembrances. So on the 25th of August, 79 AD, Pliny the Elder. So Pliny the Elder was a Roman author, naturalist, philosopher, military commander, and friend of Emperor Vespasian. Died on the 25th of August, 79 AD. Pliny had sailed to rescue a friend from the Mount Vesuvius eruption, but strong winds had held the 6th pyroclastic surge kept him from leaving port, where he probably died of a heart attack. His nephew, Pliny the Younger, witnessed the eruption from afar and recorded his observations, not knowing of the fate of his uncle.
Yeah, so they were heading back to the boat, and Pliny was just like, I'm a bit tired, I'm going to sit down here. And they found him the next day dead.
Oh, man. On the same day in 1867, Michael Faraday, pioneer in electromagnetism, died at 75 in Hampton Court. Michael's work formed the basis of electrical motors, induction, diamagnetism, and electrolysis. He popularized the term cathode, anode, electrode, and ion, and his photo was kept on Einstein's study wall besides Newton and Maxwell. The SI unit of capacitance is named in his honor. Now that's one of the one accomplished man.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff based on his work now.
I did recall a story where some guy managed to get free electricity by using a Faraday cage.
I doubt it. No, you could couple to a high voltage power line, but I don't think a Faraday cage would do that. And in that case, it's not like free energy as in perpetual motion machine. It's free energy as in you're ripping off the power company.
Yeah, so apparently the power company was like, hey, what the hell, man?
Yeah, I think I've seen people who have done, I don't know if anyone's like, I assume this guy actually did it, but I've seen a proof of concept where someone built an antenna that they could lift up below a high voltage power line and draw power from it. But that's something Tesla was working on as well. You can wirelessly transmit electricity. It's just extremely inefficient.
There we go. I think I found it. Apparently a bar owner in the UK has built a Faraday cage to stop customers from using their phones.
Yeah, that's a different situation as well.
So he built his own Faraday cage. It was pretty ingenious that involves installing metal mesh in the walls and ceiling of the bar to essentially filter out electromagnetic signals.
Yes, and I understand that that's actually illegal though because it counts as interfering with with the signal. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's
here's another one. Here's another example of Faraday cages doing crazy things. So an Australian man has used snack bags as a Faraday cage to block tracking by an employer.
Yeah. So chip bags, foil, like those foil bags, they're actually Faraday cages.
Oh man, that guy! I hope that guy didn't get fired for it.
Look, if your employer is trying to track you, I think you've got bigger issues. Like your employer is a bit of a dodgy bugger.
So, 103 years later, Tachu Naito, who founded earthquake-proof design, passed away. His works include the Tokyo Tower and other broadcasting towers. He was inspired by the motion of luggage on a train. His innovation was vindicated in the Great Kanto earthquake in 1923. He died at 84 in Tokyo. On to our famous birthdays. Ivan the Terrible was a great prince of Moscow from 1533 to 1547, then Tsar until 1584. Ivan was appointed Grand Prince when he was 3 years old. As the founder of Tsardom of Russia, he is claimed to have suffered from paranoia, rage, and mental instability, leading to him killing his son and unborn grandson. His living son was unable to rule effectively, leading to the end of the Rurikid dynasty and the start of the Time of Troubles. He was born on 25th of August 1530. On the 25th of August 1903, Arpad Elo was born. Arpad Emmerich Elo was a professor of physics at the Marquette University and the creator of the Elo rating system for chess. Elo's system iterated on the Harkness rating system and was accepted by the FIDE.
The Elo system is based on the Harkness rating system.
Fair enough. Thank you. Was accepted by the FIDE in 1970. He calculated the rankings himself until the mid-80s. Modern rankings for other games, including video games, are based on Elo's system. He was born in Igihasa, CSGO.
That's a fun word.
Yeah.
No, it's Hungarian, so I don't expect you to have a great understanding of it.
Nope. And on the 25th of August 1958, Tim Burton was born. Tim is known for his unique style of gothic fantasy and horror, including Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, and The Nightmare Before Christmas. He also directed and produced the 1990s Batman films. He was born in Burbank, California. His films commonly include Johnny Depp with Danny Elfman scores. Oh yeah, that my favorite example to highlight that, Alice in Wonderland. Boy, that was a weird movie.
Yeah. I feel like these days Johnny Depp plays Johnny Depp more than he plays his characters.
I can imagine being the director. You have Johnny Depp in there, like you just be yourself, Johnny. Just be yourself. So on to our events of interest. Starting on the 25th of August, 1835, the New York newspaper, the Sun, published a series of 6 articles describing life and civilizations discovered by Sir John Herschel, a prominent astronomer of the time. This wondrous discovery, including bat-winged humanoids, unicorns, enormous crystals, and strange temples. Unfortunately, the Sun published this as a satire of people who seriously believed in life on the moon. This even fooled Yale scientists who wanted to view the original papers. That must be the first troll job people have ever experienced.
One of the big early ones, yes.
Can you imagine saying that now?
I think people these days are a lot better educated and wouldn't fall for it.
Really? I mean, the flat earthers are still around.
That's a fair point.
So, moving along. On the 25th of August, 1939, The Wizard of Oz opened in U.S. theaters. This movie classic featured Judy Garland, only had a modest success in cinemas, but became increasingly popular after being aired on television in 1956. It was one of the first 25 films to be put on the National Film Registry in the United States Library of Congress, which is reserved for culturally or historically significant movies. I'm assuming you love those movies.
No, I'm not a huge fan of musicals.
But come on, this is The Wizard of Oz. I mean, it's one of the classics. Like my friend, like the beautiful songs by Judy Garland, like Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Yeah, I'm still not a huge fan of musicals.
Fair enough. 5 years later, in 1944, Paris was liberated after 4 years of Nazi occupation. The German garrison refused to follow Hitler's orders to destroy landmarks and burn the city. The next day, Charles de Gaulle led a liberation march through the city. And that was an impressive victory. And on the 25th of August, 1991, Linus Torvalds announced the first version of Linux. He began work on the Linux kernel to take advantage of his new 80,386 computer while he studied computer science in Helsinki. In 1994, he made the first public release. Linus left the project in 2018 to work on his infamous abrasive personality. His preferred distribution is Fedora. Wait, what infamous abrasive personality?
He's known for being a bit of a jerk.
Really?
Yes.
How much bit of a jerk are we saying here? Are we saying here like he would slap someone's protein shake off a gym, that type of jerk? Or
I don't know that he'd physically attack someone, but discussions with him can get very heated.
So not as bad as those people, not as bad as the Twitter arguments, huh?
Well, there's a lot of personal insults.
Man.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, he decided he would I think he was pressured by someone else, but he decided he would just get out and try to get better.
Can you imagine being that guy who told him just go, look, man, I know you have troubles, but you need to get help. Can you imagine being that guy?
I'm sure lots of people have asked that.
But imagine saying it, he get like thrown out with words, go like, get out of my office right now. I don't ever see you again. But yeah. Anything else before we wrap up?
Well, where can they find us, DJ?
They can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We have an old archive of our old episodes in that'snotcanon.com. They can also find us on Pod Hero, which is, as the professor will let you know.
Yes, for $5 a month, you can support us and other podcasts. Your subscription is divided among the podcasts that you listen to, depending on how much you listen to each one. And
we gladly would love to get support from you guys, because with your support, we can make awesome content. And that's all we have for today. Take care of yourselves, stay hydrated, and hooroo!
We'll see you next week.